So one of the topics that we were chatting about, off camera, is sort of aging, like sort of. So because I was talking about this with my missus, and she's a little older than me, so she's about. Well, I can't really say how old she is, but she's in her mid-30s, whereas I'm, a youngling.
30.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, it's really weird. She sent me a passport picture recently of her in 2003, when she was like 18, and I sent her one of me in 2003 when I was
13.
Yeah, I was tiny. So you've got me like 12 years old going, yeah, and her looking like a woman, and there's me like, oh, it was like there was like a whole minute of silence. It was just bad. But she was saying about how when you're in your 20s, you're apparently that like every decade before the next decade is like a template. So for how you treat your body. So for example, like if like when you're like in your teens, like one of the things I've got going for me is that I did a lot of swimming.
Yeah.
And according to her, she's medically trained. But she was saying how it's created a template for me to be able to coast through my 20s without too much trouble about the way that my body looks. I've always had a bit of a belly on me, but that's just because, because I like pizza and beer, and turns out I'm probably allergic to everything. But, which is
So
shite.
you're saying that our 30s are technically going to be hell because we abused our bodies in our 20s.
Yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as a happy-looking crack addict at the age of 35, I mean, mostly because they probably don't make it past then. Yeah. But no, so the science is, the theory is that, because what she does is she works out obsessively like towards her late 20s and then early 30s, and she looks great for it. There's going to be a point, though, because she's mixed race, and I'm white, and mixed race people tend to age a lot better. In fact, pretty much everyone ages better than white people, and which is horrible for me. But it's
for anybody watching, me and Les are only a few months apart, and we probably look about 10 years different.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
I'll say about 10 years.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not balding.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Look at me with my big beard. You
can't tell with the hat on.
No, you can't. That's why you're wearing the hat. But also, we did an episode on this earlier. Yeah. We've covered this ground. It's like, at what point do you kind of notice that you started to age? Because, like, for me, it was...
For me, when I was about 25, when the hangovers were, like, felt like I was going to die. It took me a whole day to recover from a night out. As opposed to when I was in my early 20s, I'd be able to go drink and then wake up in the morning and feel like really bright and ready to go for the next day. But yeah, once I hit 25, my body just started being like different. And I had this weird thing where I couldn't eat food afterwards. So like after a night out, you go like get a takeaway, it makes you feel better in the morning. But I couldn't eat it. Like, I'll be hungry. My body would just not.
Well, you couldn't eat the congealed takeaway sat by your bedside.
Yeah, I would just have it. Then I'll be trying to eat it. I can't eat it. I'm just like, oh.
Well, yeah, because your stomach's full of poison.
And which means that in the morning the hangover is going to be so bad.
Yeah, no.
I can't line my stomach afterwards. Because I used to be able to like kind of save myself. Where I'm like, okay, I've drank a lot. I can eat a lot now. Then so when I wake up in the morning, my stomach won't feel as bad. But yeah, got to a point I couldn't eat.
That's horrible. I mean, for me, like, I think that I noticed that the other day I had a hangover and I slept through the day.
Yeah.
And like I woke up and I had that horrible thing where you like go to sleep and it's sort of 4 a.m, so it's dark, and then you wake up again, it's 4 p.m, and it's dark.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. But like one of the things for me though, it's been sort of muscle wastage. Like, because I'm never really saying that I've got the body of the gods, but like at the same time, like I've noticed that like they're a little, like, at what point do you start getting old man arms? And worst of all, what happens when you get old man balls?
I don't know about any of those.
But, like, at what point do you sort of decide, it's like you go between having, like, sort of normal balls to old man balls? Like, like, where is the cutoff between, like, sort of normal man bollocks, and old man bollocks?
I don't know, and I don't want to know.
But, like, it's worth looking into, Marlon. It really is. I think that, like, if we don't, like, then it's going to be...
I'd rather be a surprise.
You'd rather be surprised?
A welcome surprise.
But like one day you wake up and all of a sudden you're tripping over your own nuts.
It's funny, I was watching Ricky Gervais one of his stand-up where he said like he was in the bath one day and he's like his bollocks are like floating in the bathtub.
That's what I mean. It's like I mean, do we have to wait till we're like 40 before that happens? At which point you kind of resign yourself to this idea that Christ's, you know, just no.
What do you mean by like muscle wastage though?
I was in like, okay, so you get those sort of because it comes a point where you go from having a sort of like hot bod or whatever, like a normal, you know, a body that's functioning to sort of a dad bod. And I don't know if that's because we're more sedentary as people. Because I know that before Christmas I was working out a lot.
Yeah.
Because I had nothing else to do because I was, you know, bored. And I had the time to look after myself a bit more. But now I'm working like shift work and like I'm doing a lot of, you know, I spend sort of maybe sort of 5-6 days a week working. But I'm working a sedentary job. And I've realised that whenever I do work sedentary jobs, obviously my body's kind of degenerate because I've not got the energy to go to the gym. It's that motivation to go out and do it.
Well, I noticed what it was like. I do an office job, but I noticed like with my colleagues, they're constantly like eating.
Yeah,
they're always like
it's that grazing.
Yeah, because I'm on keto, so I don't take part in what they do. But they always have cakes, all sorts of stuff going on in the office. They have like coffee mornings every week, where they just eat cakes. Everybody brings in different cakes and there's always like chocolates and all that. But yeah, I find like that's probably the cause of it. You're just sitting in the office all day long and then you're eating as well.
Yeah, like
so that's going to be a cause of like your weight gain.
Yeah, I mean, because
especially if you don't work out. Like, I think most people that I work with are quite healthy. They go to the gym and everything. But if you're the type of person that's not doing that, you're just gonna eat and gain weight.
Well, yeah, I think also it's like stress as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that, I mean, also I find that as I'm getting older, my life is filling in with. I'd say it was always an active and interesting enough life, but I would say that it's filling in with things like with more responsibilities as opposed to activities. So like, and also I think that the things that I end up wanting to do tend to be a bit more sedentary. So for example, I would. You know, like, I mean, a night out now is going from, you know, like I'd be just as happy going for a meal with my mates, maybe sharing 2 bottles of wine, than going out until 2 a.m. To be honest with you, like we were out the other day, like me and some friends of mine, you know, like the lads, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we started at like 6:30, and like by 9 o'clock, we were like, shit, guys, are we actually going to have to stay out? Not like, are we staying out? It was like,
you know, I'm becoming more and more like that as I get older as well. I'd rather just spend literally the last 2 weekends I spent indoors just chilling. Because like to me, that's like my idea of like having a good time, relaxing from work, just chilling, just watching TV and stuff like that. I really like that at the moment. And at times I do go what I thought. I do know what you're feeling, because by the time it hits like 9, 10 or 11, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I actually want to go home. And the funny thing, you know, we went to Prague last September for our friend's stag do, and we went to a bar, this Irish bar. I remember being so tired that night. I was so tired. You know, like it's the good thing about like European, like especially Eastern European countries, is that in this country they don't. When you get like a Jägermeister, they don't give you the Red Bull. They kind of just pour it out and then kind of give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
But in these countries, they actually give you the actual Red Bull. So
like,
I remember
there was this divide between like the guys who were like sort of 27 minus and then 30-ish, and like between the people who were going, oh yeah, Jaeger, and the people who are going, oh thank fuck this Red Bull.
Yeah. So after we did
I'll have a double espresso and a whiskey in there, please.
So after we did our shots, I was like, yeah, I'm going to drink the rest of this Red Bull because I need to stay awake because I'm knackered. It's not even 10 o'clock yet.
When you find yourself doing cocaine practically, like, you know, like not because, oh yeah, let's get a buzz on it. Like, no. Because, all right, guys, if we're going to make it past midnight, I'm going to need a bit of a pick me up. That's where, that's where I end up.
Yeah, you feel that just tiredness.
Yeah. I do you think though that that's because of aging, or do you think that's because of sort of working life?
I know. I think it's a bit of both. And the annoying thing now, like you develop a body clock as you get older as well.
Oh,
that's something new. I remember being a young person, because you obviously I used to go travel across London, so I used to have to wake up early. But still, if I didn't have an alarm clock or a mother, I would sleep until like midnight to midday.
Yeah.
So I found now I'm like on the weekend I'm waking up at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, and like you're going to bed like 2. And
I'm going to
being
bed
like,
2, 3. This
yeah,
time,
and
I'm
like
waking
the
up
amount
8
of
o'clock.
time I spend sitting in front of a YouTube thing, just like I am wasting my life.
Yeah.
And I know I'm wasting my time,
Yeah.
and it's really annoying. But
So
like,
that's the problem now. I know even like when I go bed late, I know that I can't make it up because I'm gonna wake up early anyway.
yeah, like
Before I'd be like, okay, I could go bed late and I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. But now I know I'm gonna wake up before 9 o'clock, regardless of what time I go to bed.
oh no, the worst one like for me because I work nights quite a lot. Like this month, I've been working night shifts, and I've been waking up at I finish at 1 a.m. I'm in bed by about 2:30 because it's an hour to get home.
Yeah.
And then I'm still up till 4 a.m. But then the next day, my body clock will do exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Like 9 a.m. straight up. Like,
It's annoying.
and you don't know, and like, but you spend the rest of the day just tired anyway.
I see my mum. I never seen my mum using an alarm clock. I always used to have an alarm clock growing up. I never see her use it to just wake up, and I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah,
man?
I couldn't do that.
Now I'm getting to that age where I'm waking up.
Right,
I don't think I can wake up in time for work, but I'll definitely wake up to be late for work.
Yeah.
I wake up probably around 8. I think naturally I could wake up easily 7, 8.
So,
And there's times I've you forget to set your alarm clock or it doesn't go off for whatever reason, and I'm sleeping. I'm enjoying my sleep, and I'm like, hold on, this is too good.
yeah,
This is way too good.
suspicious amounts of sleep.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I had that the other day. I was staying at my girlfriend's, and I had to be up at 5 a.m. because I had work in London at 8, and
Yeah.
I was on the other side of the country, and because why not just go long distance all the time? But then like with that, it was like I had a dream that my alarm had been set wrong, or no, in my dream it was 4 a.m. I woke up and then I was like, you have to wake up. Woke up, checked my phone, it was 2 a.m. and then went back to sleep and had the same dream again. Woke up in reality and spent the entire night like in 2 types of consciousness, and woke up the next day at 5 a.m. I was like, oh, thank God, because like half an hour before, like 4:30 before this thing's going to go off, like the entire time I'm just anticipating the alarm. It was really weird. It's like when you got a flight the next day.
I hate that when you're anticipating the alarm.
Oh, it's
I hate
messed
that.
up. I don't know if that's just like generally what happens to people, but like, it's not just me then.
Yeah, I have had that where I'm like, I wake up and see the time. Now I'm actually anticipating it going off.
Oh, it's fucked
I'm
up.
expecting it to go off at any minute now.
Yeah, and at what point do you decide that maybe you've got a mental disorder with that thing? Because it's like, like at what point does that become anxiety? Because I think that after doing that about 6 or 7 times, you're like, the clock's coming.
Did you ever do that back in the day where you used to have like a song as your alarm clock?
Oh yeah.
I have to stop doing that because I hate that song now. I hate
Yeah,
it.
like I've run out of songs that I liked.
Yeah.
And now it's just become every single one of them is like,
I'd
all right,
rather
I'm
just
awake.
a loud noise now. Just a loud noise.
Yeah.
But you can't have a song.
Oh no. But like,
What are the other aging factors do you think that you noticed since?
There have been a couple of positive
since
ones.
your early 20s to like now your early 30s.
There have been a couple of positive ones. I think that because I've developed wrinkles on my face that aren't really wrinkles. So like when I smile, there's like these crinkles around my eyes, and it used to be one of my ex-girlfriends. Her favourite thing about me was that whenever I smiled, these crinkles came up in my eyes, and I don't know, like maybe it's sort of because I think that as we get older, I think that the girls that I know, they all tend to go for older guys, and I'm not sure why that is, because it doesn't make sense, but it also kind of does a bit.
I think it biologically might make a bit of sense. I guess also as well, like I think they say that men are like 10 years behind women anyway.
Oh,
like,
and 6 steps.
maturity, yeah.
Yeah.
Wise, so it makes more sense that way than the other way around, I guess.
Well, like sort of equal levels of maturity as people.
Yeah.
But then I think maturity is quite subjective, because I think that...
And also as well, like men tend to have their shit more together as the older they get. The
Yeah,
younger they
we
are.
learned.
Yeah.
After the first divorce. I think with that, I think though that those attributes that I'm gaining that make me look older are actually kind of working for me a little bit more. And I don't think that when you're aging as a bloke, it's necessarily a bad thing, but it does depend on your attitude around it. I think that obviously it's important to stay healthy, but then the results you get from being healthy is different.